I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. So, we've been reading about the siege of Jerusalem by the army of Sennacherib, and how his commanders have been mocking God and Hezekiah, railing against the Jews, and trying to persuade them to surrender without fighting. We pick this up now in 2 Kings chapter 19. We will read the first 19 verses. Hezekiah seeks counsel from Isaiah to save Jerusalem. Isaiah prophesies defeat of Assyrians and death of Sennacherib. Hezekiah prays for deliverance. Sennacherib sends a blasphemous letter. Isaiah prophesies destruction of Assyrians and that a remnant of Judah will flourish. An angel slays 185,000 Assyrians. Sennacherib slain by his sons. So lots going on in this chapter. But again, we're just reading first 19 verses. And it came to pass, when King Hezekiah heard it, that he rent his clothes and covered himself with sackcloth and went into the house of the Lord. And he sent Eliakim, which was over the household, and Shebna the scribe, and the elders of the priests, covered with sackcloth, to Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amoz. And they said unto him, Thus saith Hezekiah, This day is a day of trouble, and of rebuke and blasphemy, for the children are come to the birth, and there is not strength to bring forth. It may be the Lord thy God will hear all the words of Rabshakeh, whom the king of Assyria his master hath sent to reproach the living God, and will reprove the words which the Lord thy God hath heard. Wherefore lift up thy prayer for the remnant that are left. So the servants of King Hezekiah came to Isaiah. And they're bringing the message to Isaiah. We're in trouble. We can't really raise enough strength on our own to fight this army. There's too many of them. But they are mocking God. They are railing against the true God of heaven. Maybe God's heard it and will do something about it. So would you mind praying and letting us know? That's basically what's going on here. Verse 6. And Isaiah said unto them, Thus shall ye say unto your master, Thus saith the Lord, Be not afraid of the words which thou hast heard, with which the servants of the king of Assyria have blasphemed me. Behold, I will send a blast upon him, and he shall hear a rumor, and shall return to his own land. And I will cause him to fall by the sword in his own land. So Rabshakeh returned, and found the king of Assyria warring against Libnah, for he had heard that he was departed from Lachish. And when he heard say of Tirhakah, king of Ethiopia, Behold, he is come out to fight against thee, he sent messengers again unto Hezekiah, saying, Thus shall ye speak to Hezekiah, king of Judah, saying, Let not thy God, in whom thou trustest, deceive thee, saying, Jerusalem shall not be delivered into the hand of the king of Assyria. Behold, thou hast heard what the kings of Assyria have done to all land. Behold, thou hast heard what the kings of Assyria have done to all lands, by destroying them utterly. And shalt thou be delivered? Have the gods of the nations delivered them which my fathers have destroyed, as Gozan and Haran and Resav, and the children of Eden, which were in Thalasar? Where is the king of Hamath, and the king of Arpad, and the king of the city of Sepharvaim, of Hena and Iva? So Isaiah says, don't worry about it. We're going to divert him away for a while. And they're going to go back, and Sennacherib, or he shall return to his own land and fall by the sword in there. So now Rabshakeh leaves Jerusalem because he hears that the king has left the siege of Lachish, because Libnah, which I believe is south, and the Ethiopians have both risen up against the king, and so he has to leave the siege to put down this rebellion. So while he's gone to take care of this rebellion, while his attention is diverted away, he writes this letter to blaspheme against the Lord, saying, Your gods aren't going to save you. No God has saved their people. Yours is no different. Yours is just like all these other gods. And so this is while the Assyrians are diverted away. They're no longer besieging the city. They send this letter. So verse 14. And Hezekiah received the letter of the hand of the messengers and read it. And Hezekiah went up into the house of the Lord and spread it before the Lord. And Hezekiah prayed before the Lord and said, O Lord God of Israel, which dwellest between the cherubims, thou art the God, even thou alone, of all the kingdoms of the earth. Thou hast made heaven and earth. Lord, bow down thine ear and hear. Open, Lord, thine eyes and see, and hear the words of Sennacherib, which hath sent him to reproach the living God. Of a truth, Lord, the kings of Assyria have destroyed the nations and their lands, and have cast their gods into the fire, but they were no gods, but the works of men's hands, wood and stone. Therefore they have destroyed them. Now therefore, O Lord our God, I beseech thee, save thou us out of his hand, that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that thou art the Lord God, even thou only. Sennacherib, he has to divert his armies away, but he sends this blasphemous letter. And Hezekiah gets so angry. He is just so incensed about this. And he takes the letter, he goes into the temple, and he spreads the letter out by the altar. And he basically is saying, look, God, look what he's saying about you. Are you going to stand for this? Are you going to allow him to be so blasphemous? Let them know that you're God. Show them the truth. Don't let such blasphemy stand. Hezekiah, when he gets this letter, doesn't seem to be scared. He's not worried. When he went to Isaiah the first time, he was a little worried. He said, look, this army is really big. We're going to need God to help us. But the army is diverted, and he gets this letter. And I mean, he was happy to just have the army gone. But he gets this letter, and he becomes angry. And it's not for his people. He's not scared for Jerusalem right now. He's angry that they would dare to say these things about God. How dare you lie and blaspheme about the great God of heaven? And that's when he goes in. God, are you going to let this stand? See this. Hear the words. Don't let this stand. Prove to them that you are the God of heaven. It's a wonderful thing. I love Hezekiah's reaction here. But we're going to leave it here. And we will pick this up, actually. We will read a little bit more in Isaiah next. So we will see you there.